If you were drawn to this video, there's a message from your future self from a year out from where you stand today. They have a few things that they would like to come through and say to you about your future situations, as well as about what you are doing now and how to connect the two. So 3 piles to choose from today. You may use the crystal or 2 different oracle cards per group to choose which piles you resonate with most strongly. You can be drawn to multiple piles, and that is okay. So pile number 1, your crystal, is the frog. Your 2 cards, the koala spirit and the father. Pile number 2, your crystal, is the dragon skull. Your 2 cards are the frog spirit and the flame. Pile number 3, your crystal, is the black cat, and your cards, the seahorse spirit and the unseen. Okay, so take as much time as you need to find your pile or piles, and I will meet you at your messages. Hi there, pile number 1. These are your messages from your future self. We are starting by shuffling out some oracle cards to get an energy check for where you are at now so that you can recognize if this is your pile. So we do have 2 cards so far. We'll pull from a few different decks, get into the bulk of the messages with reading tarot, and we will finish with a section specifically for some guidance, reassurance, things like this that may be needed for the collective at this time, as recommended by your future self based on what they have been through, where they're at now, all of those things. So those look like your messages so far. Let's reveal those. Oh, we have the black cat. There is a curious journey into the depths of the unknown, hidden so deep that only the brave will gracefully return with light in their eyes and shadow leading home. A curious journey. Rebirth. There is death in all that awakens, for it isn't blissful nor painless. It's a mighty rising. Oh, flame resurrected. I love that card. That's my card. Scorpio over here. Death and transformation, rebirth. Love it. We have assertion and loss. Okay, and final few oracle. We have fire dance, ivy, and moon dragon. Okay. Let's take a look at our spread here. Future messages from your future self. Energy check for pile number 1. Okay. So far, there's something here about the father being connected with the curious journey that was mentioned into the depths. Moving into the depths, moving into deep into a specific archetype could be relevant at this time for you. You could be kind of transforming. I mean, we do see the rebirth. That totally makes sense. And we have death mentioned specifically in there, of course. But we see, I love how it mentions it is a neutral thing. And on the other side is a mighty rising with resurrection. And I see that within the Father card. And I'm just feeling like a sense of not divinity to the Father card, but it just feels very special and coming back home in some way. Kind of feels like what you have been up to. And we even see the loss. I see the death within this card as well, mentioning that and coming back home. Wow. That's what it feels like. It feels like so far what I've mentioned. And moon dragon, something that is starting to transition into the light, yes, to the fire dance. I was thinking of existing in authenticity when you're alone at night in those sacred hours, and something is coming into the light. Literally, something is stepping out into daylight, into being seen and perceived by others at this time as well. And the ivy, it does feel like something is kind of manipulating you or taking over, growing uncontrollably at this time. And I'm almost getting that with this imagery of brush here. And neat and clean over to a little bit more messy. And I guess, yeah, I'm seeing brush within this image. It is the inverse image, and that's what I'm seeing, but I wasn't. Anyways, ivy, it feels like something taking control, and like I see that this person would be like bound by the ivy growing around her, her arms bound. And so it's like not being able to control the fact that something is growing. Loss. What do you feel like you have lost? And through something being like insistent on being part of your story at this time with assertion, whatever thing you feel like you're changing with, I feel like is like, for one reason or another, you could be saying like, I have no choice, I just have to give in. This thing is obviously inserting itself into my life, I can't help it. There's some of you that feel like that. And it is like something that at the same time feels like coming home. But look at the split imagery. It feels like coming home, but at the same time it feels like something very like, this feels very, not like ethereal, like abstract art, surreal, like surrealism. This is your home now. It's something surreal. It's something you're not used to. Like with the dragon, with the monster, nonetheless, that you are approaching, it does feel foreign, and you kind of go back and forth between feeling such relief of like, I'm going home, this feels right, this feels good, and then back to questioning, back to like, it's really the teetering back and forth. And I've been trying to think of a way to describe that. Like the ivy card feels like the in-between, between coming out into the light. The ivy is the taking over, the inevitability of something happening. So it's a struggle at this time for some of you to, at some days, it's almost, I noticed the neutrality. Wow. Okay, so neutrality was significant in the rebirth card. Rather than being rebirth just being blissful or painless, it is neutral. It just happens. And so I think there is a merging of being overly like, if you're focusing on one thing too much, it can become overwhelming, and sometimes you just need to like take a break. So it's good to be happy, excited, feeling like something is meant for you. But I think some of you might experience like an extreme side of it to where it would just become like too much of like, this is happening too fast, it's all happening too much. Sometimes you are feeling like you need a break. And so what I'm trying to say is that a good approach at this time could be like more neutrality. Rather, I know that that is the struggle, that is what we need answers for how to do, because there is like the confusion between one day I feel good, this feels right, one day I feel afraid. And so we're trying to make this feel better. And we'll see, there is a plan. I've been noticing this and waiting for the right time to kind of tie it in. But I'll mention now, your card Spirit has a plan. So, and I don't know if this is a stretch, but you have the Frog card, which is the moss agate. And I know ivy isn't in like swamps and whatnot, and kind of, I mean, it could be, but I'm just thinking about like, ivy card is you in the transition, is you growing, is you transforming, and what with it is the areas of confusion and things like that. And I'm thinking of how a frog would probably exist most comfortably within this habitat of all the cards pictured on your spread. And so the message, when I'm thinking of Spirit has a plan, I feel like there is Spirit on your shoulder with you in your environment of transition. That's what I'm seeing from this message directly, is you have support right beside you. From your future self, from your team, from your spirit guides, all of those things. Okay, so we are ready to get into the bulk of your messages from your future self. What does pile 1 need to know? Just one card, future self for pile number 1. Take a couple more cards, please. Nice. Okay. Messages from your future self to clue you into what's happening a year out from now and help you to merge the gap between current and future and get on the right path. Knight of Swords, Three of Pentacles, the Magician, the Star, and the Six of Swords. I will stop there before I pull other tarot cards, and we will read these messages from your future self. Considering energies we have read for so far, and speaking of identifying a plan, identifying a path, I see something about you working closely with people in one situation or environment within the next year, and that leading you to a magical opportunity. The Magician, the Star, or likewise you being really truly in an apprenticeship role or a intern role, and on the other side of that, about a year from now, I think you feel like you've learned enough to move along from that. Some of you have a desire to be independent and to be separate from things like corporate work you want to be self-sufficient, work for yourself, or with a small group of like-minded, creative people that have shared inspirations and ideas. That would be attractive to you as well. And I think that we'll wait for more messages to come out as well, but I do think that within this year, you could have received an offer recently for a job or some other opportunity in that space. You could have received that recently and then taken it quite quickly, like without hesitation, or otherwise you could have that coming to you very shortly, leading to opportunity to learn to become the Magician and blessing, inspiration, encouragement from all of your higher areas, all of your guides coming through to push you to a new path that I do believe that will be more closer to being your biggest dream of what you would love to do, create solo. Messages from your future self. We have the Nine of Wands, the Fool card. Wow. Temperance. This feels like what I'm thinking of. This feels like the Nine of Wands is the confusion that we were picking up on. And the Fool is that fresh, new perspective, new version of you that would like to step into the light. And that is inevitably doing so within the next year. Some debut, and that's exciting. I hope that is exciting to you. And I am seeing so upon perhaps working with people, you could be in your defenses to start. And the time of getting an opportunity could line up with you. It could be so real as this is a new group of people. I can start over, essentially. I can be who I'm trying to be here, or I can do my best to be as much of that as I can at this time, and to merge as much of that into me now as I can, because these people don't know me. It's really the perfect time. So that's what I'm seeing in, for some of you, the case of those lining up with your debut, being encouraged by beginning to work on a new team. Yeah. And then we see the deeper aspects of digging into the two elements of who you were, who you are becoming, and you've always been working with it. It's been difficult to have it on your mind quite often throughout this process, in fact, And so there really hasn't been a time that you haven't been considering the factors day to day and thinking over things and mulling over things. You know, it's hard. But I see that things are progressing. Like, there's always work to do, unfortunately, and you're digging down to deeper levels and deeper tiers. And likewise with the star, continuing that process, which is great. It means you continue to grow and improve across your lifetime. So we love that for you. Okay, let's pull out just a few more tarot. Here they are. We have the Two of Wands and the Queen of Swords. Messages for your future self. Look at this. I think your power comes with when you move on. I think there is something that you really, really would love to do. And the reason that Spirit has a plan is because there has been something in existence from the beginnings of time for you. A very long time you have wanted something, whether it has been something you have expressed, worked toward, can't hide from Spirit all the time, so they know. And that's why there's a plan in place, because there's a goal to be achieved. And you're going to get something in about a year from now. You're going to make a move that is going to mean the world for you. You're going to be able to envision what could be. Look at the Queen of Swords envisioning what's ahead of her, and look at how she appears. I love the Queen of Swords. I will probably mention it every time it comes up in a reading because I love her so much. But she is looking out at what's next. It's really an eye-opening perspective, and we're not going to get these messages for what is beyond. We're knowing that there is something huge in terms of just being prepared, being ready, being experienced enough, being far enough along on your timeline, or all the things that are factoring into this. It's not luck. It's not like, I mean, it's lucky, of course, but it's like now is the time because of different reasons. And it will feel like so exciting is what I'm getting. What your wildest dreams could be, start getting creative with that now. We're going to get some advice and guidance next from your future self to get inspiration for how to move toward this. But I would say get clear. Not get clear, but like get wild with what you would love to have, what you would love to do. If you're thinking to yourself a year from now, my goodness, that is too long. I understand, but also it's like the things you can do if you start getting clear on intentions, manifesting and attracting, getting things, getting to your best self as best as you can be. It's going to be so worth it, and I feel like this is actually a really, really great advantage for you guys. There is so much, and we have the Magician. That's what, in the middle of this process, get serious, I want to say, no pressure. But when I say get serious, it's like I would consider like just, if not like asking you to do specific things, this is asking you to really just focus on care. Take care of yourself, which I'm sure you get those messages all the time from many different areas of life, people, but like it is, if you know anything about attraction, manifestation, taking care of yourself is what's going to bring you the level to bring in good things. Yes. Okay, so pile number 1, let's finish out your reading with a couple more tarot cards with the advice. We have one come out quite quickly here. The Six of Pentacles, advice from your future self to get to a year from now and to continue toward this beautiful path that we have laid out so far. We'll grab about 3 or 4 more cards. We have the Magician once again. Yeah, I think they would love if you do what I had mentioned in whatever aspect resonated with you or felt practical, felt like something you would want to consider, would be great. The King of Pentacles, and one more card. Yeah, wow. Take your work now seriously. is a message with Six of Pentacles to King of Pentacles, because right now people are offering up a lot of valuable information to you and you are receiving it. And Six of Pentacles, this process of learning and mentorship and things like this is what will bring you to the ability to feel comfortable. King of Pentacles diverging on your own with a new idea, with the Ace of Swords, with a new key, moving toward Queen of Swords and Six of Swords, moving away and seeing that picture and being ready. It's the right time because now you have the key. It's the right time now. So now whatever is here, you're ready to unlock and step into it. And you are the magician. We mentioned that your future self would like you to get clear on your biggest, wildest dreams. It doesn't have to be strict homework to do this kind of thing. When you're walking, when you're driving, let your imagination go. Focus on driving, but just visualize, imagine. It's quite easy. You don't have to put much effort into these things. So I would highly recommend, if you don't already do these kinds of things. Final messages. The Two of Swords, advice and guidance, and the Empress. 2 to 3, that feels significant. You could be 23. We have the Knight of Pentacles. So advice and guidance to reach your future self in a year from now. 2 of Swords. I would value as well personal pursuits for higher intellect, learning a lot at this time. You're taking a lot from other people, but it could be beneficial to follow your own curiosities with the Two of Swords and plug more information into your storage with that tree stump. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. The Empress for your advice. I mean, I'm seeing like patience with this card. We have the fetus that is pictured in her card specifically. She's typically pregnant in the Empress card, and there's a crown ready for this unborn baby. Like, I've never noticed that before, and she's holding the crown, about to place it as soon as this child arrives. As soon as you're crowned when you reach the new destination. It's like a coronation waiting for you. And we have like the top hat again, which is interesting because advice to move steadily forward with what strikes inspiration, curiosity at this time, because nothing can be wasted in terms of getting information, and you never know. Just follow the pathways you are called to. It doesn't matter if you're called to it for 2 days and then it's gone. Just follow what you're meant to do, because some things, it will be easy to identify because they will be the things that are attractive to you in terms of being curious about it, inspired to learn about it, and these will be the things that will carry you. We see the leaves in her knowledge bucket hat, and then we see the leaves, we see her wearing the same bucket hat, and the leaves being the ones carrying her. So, wow, this was a great reading. So shout out to you guys, because your future self, they really came through with these messages. This gave a lot of clarity, I'm sure. So if you did enjoy your messages, please subscribe to the channel, as well as like and comment on the video. You can comment your pile if you feel comfortable. But I wish you the best of luck in your next year. You're going to do great things. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in your next reading. Hi there, pile number 2. We are shuffling out some oracle cards, messages from your future self. Few different decks we're going to use here. These will be, again, kind of serving as an energy check to help you understand if this is the correct pile. Messages from yourself, identifying current energies you are in before we get into the bulk of the messages, which will identify where you are going, where you will find yourself in a year from now, based on eyewitness evidence from you. So, a couple more oracle cards from this deck. Oh, and one more. Alrighty. We will reveal these before we get into the bulk of the messages with those tarots. We have the Frog card. May the lily beneath your breast allow you to drink from its healing waters. Be still, for there is serenity behind the drowning crooks. It's interesting, when I use this deck, I feel like this card comes out all the time, and it is number 17, which reminds me of the Star card in Tarot, which feels like, for me, a lot of the times that message is like a spiritual message of good luck or clarity coming through, or support as well. So that is kind of what I'm getting here with the Frog card, just a little hint of like spiritual presence coming through right now. We have the card Silence. There is a sweet embrace in the nothingness stillness brings, a presence of self fully embodied. I love that there's the pumpkin behind her, which can represent abundance and friendship and things like this. Still having those things, even in the isolation, silence, loneliness even, that all still existing even when it isn't being accessed. Water element. Caffeine. Riches. Originality. Status. And risk. Okay, so we will read this spread before we move along. You mentioned that first message with the frog, and you have the frog spirit, I just noticed. So the card you chose is the frog spirit. We mentioned something about like things still existing even when they aren't being accessed at the time, like riches still existing even when they aren't being used or in the direct presence of. Clear out the clutter is like cluttering up your path so that you are not open to the accessibility of this fact. Clearing out limiting beliefs as well would be advice, so that you can access the vision of riches that are ever present and also capable of being created. Yeah. I see something, I'm noticing the numbers within the 4 oracle cards across the bottom. We have 10, 11, 2, and 1. If we're thinking about like numerology, I'm getting feelings of like Wheel of Fortune type vibes, and then stepping into new inspiration directly off of that with 10 and 11. And then I'm seeing like the risk of stepping into something new, and result is like make or break to a specific status. The water element and caffeine we have not touched on, neither have we touched on the flame. Let's see here. Yeah, just something about like, I was thinking about connecting caffeine with clearing out the clutter. It's something about the way that things are upside down, like closed off or otherwise spilling over, that is significant, and also feels significant within the silence card, within presence of self, nothingness, stillness, all of that, clearing out the clutter to achieve that. I'm not taking some like intuitive work, I think, with water element coming up to follow what would make you feel better and to recognize the importance of doing these things that may have been viewed as like trivial or a waste of time, to spend time in organization, even of thoughts of your home, of things like that, and doing the necessary things in this time to spark a flame is what I want to say. And I'm seeing how on the frog card, it looks like her flames are very dull on her candlestick. Something is like trying to catch attention, trying to catch wind, trying to grow a flame. It's almost like there's something that it's that idea of like not letting a flame go out and carrying it with you literally and not letting the wind take it out, not letting that happen. I see kind of like a challenge ahead of like something that you are delicately carrying and handling throughout the next year or so. And it's like kind of like a matter of like needing to hold on, needing to hang on and hold out for the outcome. There's strength required. Perhaps what you are meant to keep alight throughout this next year is simply your own like internal flame of happiness, of like being silly, like being goofy. I think with silence, with isolation, that message I'm picking up, I think it's going to be a task to bring yourself joy and things like that intentionally. Keeping the flame alight intentionally. In the silence, in the difficulties, in loneliness, doing the things that can help you. Not crying over spilled milk. Like picking things up. Using things to your advantage. Using it as a step upward. The things that are broken and painful and empty. Using it to step upward. And that could be a risk to you. To view things in such a way. I want to say for some of you, you might have a fear of like inviting more trouble into your life by like feeling neutral about it. There might be some of you that feel like you need to like actively reject or like ward off negativity, negative situations toward you. But focusing inward and off of negativity is going to be crucial. It's like crucial in general to like keep something going and to like hang on in some way. Because originality, because there's a lot to you, your status is original. And we'll find out from your future self with the tarot right now what else to know. A year from now, we see a picture of what is leading them to the year. Let's see what might be waiting for them. Tarot messages from pile. Choose higher self, and I have a ton of cards. Plenty of information, thank you. Okay, pull that one first. First tarot card. The Six of Swords. Judgment. Ten of Wands. The Hanged Man. And the Death card. Wow. We'll pause there before we reveal the rest of the messages, but something strong within the placement of the Hanged Man and the Death card, and as well as this. I mean, that is step by step. Wow. I'm almost trying to think of like situations where death would come before changed perspective versus where changed perspective would inspire a death and transformation within you. I think for some of you, I want to say that like it will be a choice leading to a transformation. Others, it will be something happening, inspiring you to transform. Yeah. Either way, I think you will feel in control. I think that if something essentially like pushes you into that territory, that it will be natural and just feel like what's right for your next step. So no concern there with what I've received so far. Let's see, we have the Six of Swords as well as the Judgment card. I mean, really, this is going quite nicely across the board. Like, chronologically, it doesn't always happen that way, but this one, it does feel that way. Six of Swords it's like you arriving after the year and arriving to the judgment call, in which I think there are situations happening that push you to be better, to push you to, and by be better, I mean like learn to say no to things, learn to not take on things that you're not interested in. With the 10 of Wands, it's like the 6 of Swords is you arriving after carrying that flame for that year. And then we spoke of that progression and the options you have, either one leading to transformation, which is natural. For a year out from now, we're going to have some transformation. So let's look at the rest of the cards. We have the Page of Swords, the 7 of Wands, future self, pile number 2, the Hierophant. Future self messages for a year from now. I'm going to pull out 2 more tarot here. Let's see. A couple more messages for the collective. Future self. 5 of Wands. And 6 of Cups. Okay, so pile number 2, these messages from your future self, taking it literally of like some resistance or fight happening. Ooh, I feel like there is like a middleman at this time for some of you, like controlling a situation, inspiring negative action upon yourself and other parties involved, like, and it's a situation that it is hopefully we're getting out of. I'm not sure, but it feels like with the Hierophant, like, or this is a call of like nonsense, like stop doing something. I don't know if some of you immediately can identify what that might mean, if that's really, really relevant to you at this time, but like the Hierophant looks like he's like trying to stop everyone from the chaos and stop a situation, stop what you're doing. This could be a message of like practicing gentle patience with yourself as well at this time. I always want to say with the Hierophant that like his face reminds me of like a lamb. I'm not sure, maybe he's supposed to like represent that, but I'm gonna look that up because now I'm curious. But in this deck, he looks like a lamb. He's giving lamb features, so giving me an idea of like gentleness, impatience, innocence as well. It's almost like just wait, because like some factors will come into play later on that will like negate things you attempted to do. And when I say that, I feel like it's like if you were to like sign, again, I said something about like not being afraid to say no to people. Like if you were to sign yourself up for something, like, and the key here is that it would be like a push to get yourself to do that, like not in a way of like self-improvement, I should do this. It's like, why am I doing this? I'm not meant to do this. I don't want to. And so situations like that, that the message here is to like stop and like not start anything new, kind of, with the Page of Swords. And because again, like something that you would reluctantly sign yourself up, and there's a reason you feel reluctant, because it's not going to serve you. There are situations that it can serve you in more of like a neutral way, and like you can do things that aren't directly benefiting toward your desired pathway. But if it's something you intensely don't want to do, it's for good reason, because it's going to negate itself in some way and prove to be like a waste of time, prove to be worthless. Yeah. So just think about pursuing the things that, with 6 of Cups, nostalgia. Only think about your interests, go with your flow, do the things that you feel happy doing, that you want to do, and that would be your key. Yeah, messages for how to get to the year out. And we know that there is a transformation, of course, like working through a cycle, working through a shadow within this next year. And something aligning around this time in a year from now, like possibly supported by like planetary movements and things like that. That is like a moment in your timeline of they're ready to progress. Yeah, this message, the 9 of Wands. What is pile number 2? What can they expect in addition to the transformation? If anything will come out for us, we have the Devil. Lots of choices to make with new things to be considered and changes. Yeah, I think that a like realistic message could be a sense of overwhelm at the start, but it is being like well managed. And there's something here about like, it's so strange. The Hierophant like commanding 2 similar cards on adjacent sides, sandwiched between the Devil, sandwiched between like 2 similar energy cards on either sides. Like I think you're just benefiting a lot from like additional support and guidance in this time as well. And while things might feel overwhelming with a transformation, there is support in that time, with the Devil representing like some support structure, system in place, spiritual support, all of those things at once happening for you. So yeah, realistic in that you could feel stressed or anxious about change. That's completely normal, but it is going to be supported. Your future self is telling you that. We are finishing out your reading with more, we want like really good guidance for you guys to help you because things feel a little bit more challenging in this pile. So the World card for guidance, pile number 2 from their future self. We have Judgment showing up once again. We have the Ace of Wands, and I will pull out one more. We have the Temperance card, advice and guidance. I think it could be really inspiring to engage with the world in this time. We had the message of isolation. Engaging with the world in whatever way that would make sense for you, whether it's like choosing, not to knock any of these examples, but choosing to watch like just again following your interests. And you could be interested in like creation as a whole, like theories like that, like universal theories and stuff like that you could be interested in, or it could be like just really a moment, Judgment, to open your perspective. Yes, absolutely, with the Ace of Wands. You will be very strongly supported and guided through trying to open your perspective in whatever ways, I want to say, will present themselves to you to do. Like literally scrolling on YouTube and you see an interesting little like short documentary. Watch it, get some knowledge. That's the message. Spend your time between now and future doing that, temperance, working with that. You're supported in this time. There will be challenges. You're going to start to learn like the flow of communication with your guides and recognize why things happen. And that's going to be a huge blessing for you, is being able to essentially like decipher situations happening. You could start to feel like more self-sufficient, and you could even start like reading tarot. You could start to feel self-sufficient in following your intuition, which is fantastic. That's great. But final card, the Sun. I'm so glad I pulled that one. I debated, but the Sun card is what you guys need. A message of a bright future, a message to hold out for optimism, to keep your flame alight, because it will explode one day. Yeah, the Sun is just a huge giant flame. It's got to start somewhere. Wow, that is beautiful. Pile 2, I really hope you enjoyed your messages. I wish you the best of luck in your next year. If you enjoy the messages, please subscribe, as well as like and comment on the video. Have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading. Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading messages from your future self. We are shuffling out our oracle cards right now. We just had 2 come out. These will be the energy check to help you determine if this feels like your energies the correct pile. I would check out other piles if it doesn't feel right. Messages from pile 3's future higher self. We will get into the bulk of the messages with tarot and finish with a different tarot deck to get you any specific guidance and advice needed to turn over every last page in this reading for you guys. So I'm excited. This is you coming through to speak, so I'm ready to be impressed with y'all. Okay, so we have crystals and herbs. Oh, what medicine, what sacredness to behold. A dash of healing straight from Mother's home. Straight from Mother's home. Straight from you guys. Okay, owl. Behold sight, O ancient ones, for there is magic in the darkest of places if one dares to open their eyes. Wow. I love this deck. We have the fire element. Oh. Whispers of Spring. And the fire dance. Wow. Final oracle cards. Assertion. Protection. As well as romance. Okay, so let's start reading this spread before we get into the bulk of the messages. Okay, so pile 3's higher self. There was something initially about the unseen card and the seahorse. Like, I felt like the unseen card almost like blends into the background imagery on the seahorse card. That's just something specific I mentioned, but like, wow. And it even says like watch and wait, which I think is pretty cool. And I like that it's also just one eye pictured on the seahorse, and like I feel like there's going to be something to come through about vision, definitely with the owl with the pair of eyes, and then here with like one pair of eyes essentially, and something about like different perspectives. So let's wait for that message to come out. Crystals and herbs. There's a dash, I mean, I'm going to take that literally. There's something about healing coming through from your future self. Yeah, telling you now that you might feel like you're in a dark place, and the magic that is present if you open your eyes at this time. And I think it's almost like a little message of like support of when you open your eyes, we are there too. Or like, yeah, there was a similar energy in pile 2 if you felt called to it, kind of just getting a lot of generalized kind of support and guidance within this time. So check that out if you felt any desire. But yeah, like spirit offering to like intentionally holding some weight for you, like holding some visions for you as well, with the seahorse spirit and your eye creating one like set. Interesting. Bear with me here. Okay, so fire element coming through strongly, fire element and fire dance. And within that, ooh, I like this message, the whispers of spring, which I do believe could be a whisper of romance on the horizon, if not already present. I do believe with the unseen, it could be not here yet. It's a whisper of something. If it is here, it's very, very new. Whispers of spring. I think it's like almost like a subplot to your next year is like a whisper of like romance is coming in. I don't know if you're kind of like enjoying being with someone, but neither party's concerned about like labels, commitment, and it just being like a whisper of like something on the horizon, and that being enjoyable for both parties. So yeah, or otherwise like starting to feel more ready to like put yourself out there within the next year, or like just starting to like surprise yourself by expressing some interest. These little whisperings of like desire and intention and things coming together to you in the romance department. While something else is happening though. So we're going to find out what the big like main thing is. We have the protection again, which I didn't really register with the message of your spiritual team being directly by your side. Assertion. It's yeah, it's something about spreading your wings on your own, diverging to the fire element, to the fire dance, like almost like a ritual to which you're ready to go dance on your own. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull out some tarot to clarify what has come through so far for pile three's future self. What else can we know about where they are arriving? We've gotten a good amount of information so far. Let's see what else we can identify. So, a year from now for the collective for pile three from their future self. What else? Anything else here? Okay. All right. So, let's reveal these tarot. Justice. King of Pentacles. Where is pile three heading? The World. The Five of Wands. The King, the Page of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles. Wow. You could have a King of Pentacles in your future. I'm actually going to pull these final two. Probably pull out a few more. So the Three of Wands and the Three of Cups. Okay. Something about becoming King of Pentacles, but maybe that's like something else needs to happen before that. Like that's a little ahead of us at this time. But also the Page of Pentacles coming to the Ten of Pentacles. With support, I'm not sure. That's interesting. Well, we do have the King of Pentacles. I'm just going crazy because I already read it. Okay, so tunnel vision over here. Yeah. So that's confirmed. King of Pentacles with the Ten of Pentacles makes perfect sense. But it is still a message with the Page of Pentacles of more of like beginner needing some support, having things to learn. So I see that happening as well, is working together with your team. And especially here with the Three of Cups is giving me that message specifically. And so where you are heading in a year from now, your future self is telling you that you will look back on the journey, and I think you will make some revelations of, again, looking back at the journey with the world. I think you're going to realize a few things about the times that you fought for yourself will be very significant. The times that you felt like someone was fighting for you will be very important to take forward. You will feel very supported with that, especially. If nothing else, it's like just amazement at what happened and how. Like looking back and amazement on your part. Let's see. But where are we heading? What is changing? Like, get more information. Two of Cups, whispers of romance coming through. We have the Six of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, and the Page of Swords. Yeah, like I said something about you realizing like I really fought for the fire element. Like that fiery boldness is coming out of you, something that was unseen, something that was needing more support, and now being freed from that in some sense, getting more independence. Yeah, and something big about realizing that you, like, proving to yourself, like, I can do this, I can fight for myself, I can show up that way with the Five of Swords. Because you were a beginner at that. That was something new to you, I believe. You've never seen yourself, like, be that passionate about making something happen, whether it's something internal or external. And so that is huge, a huge cycle completed with the world. The things you can do after that, that is a huge prize, is now having this skill to go forward. You are always going to be able to recognize what you truly, truly want intuitively and fight for it, because it feels so much different to work towards something that you truly want. And it's not a desperate want either. It's, I can do this, so I'm going to make it happen. And that is how you will be able to tackle future situations. This is something that is going to benefit you tenfold in the future. Yeah, gaining a lot of strength. In the next year, can we identify any specific areas that are calling the collective to demonstrate strength and perseverance in the next year? The Four of Cups. Let's see, just a couple more before we get into your guidance. These messages are coming out quickly and clearly. We have the Ten of Wands. So the specific challenges we see in this path that are bringing out the strength in you, the fighter in you. Let's see. Just a few more cards if they are available. No. Maybe this one. The Sun! Yay! Good. So, yeah, I really think it's a lot about what I had mentioned. The situations you're facing, I think you could be getting a lot of offers at this time, but some of them are for things you don't want. And so it's learning that practically, if I'm to accept this offer, I'm expected to do so many things a week, commit so many hours, commit so much progress each week. Realistically, am I going to be able to do that? Is this thing exciting enough to me? And that is part of the process of you learning how to become that fighter. The first step is feeling passionate enough toward one thing that you're okay with rejecting other things. Yeah, you have to be okay with putting down some things. It could be with in the romance department, as that is coming into your life as well. Rejection there. If something isn't, use your judgment. If you're someone who needs to be all in, you're not feeling like that after so much time, don't be afraid of rejection as well. Or don't be afraid of receiving rejection either. The Sun card, everything will turn around. Everything turns to the Sun. Turn to your passion. Turn to your happiness and optimism, inspiration, the Sun. Wow, these are quick messages for y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get the advice and guidance. I feel like maybe that is more relevant. We're not getting too many specifics on situations taking place, but could need a heavier focus on some guidance. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you guys. Anything else for pile 3? Wow. There's just really one card that came out of that I wanted. So let me snatch that. Sweet. Okay. This is your guidance and advice from your future self to bring you to that future moment. The Five of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, the King of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Emperor, and the Nine of Wands. These are all wow. I mean, you have King of Cups, Queen of Wands, you have a dynamic pair. Romance could be relevant in this pairing we have here, a King of Cups counterpart and a Queen of Wands counterpart. Intuitive, emotional on the cup side versus fiery, passion. Maybe that's you, the Queen of Wands, regardless of gender. Equal counterparts, strong counterparts, but maybe of different elements, of different temperaments, essentially. So advice, guidance, maybe that is something just again for you to recognize, another whispering of romance. Things are starting to kind of pick up and hint toward that. Or this could be a good confirmation for you for someone you are getting to know. Advice and guidance. Yeah, I think it is important as well at this time to be strategic and specific with what you would like to do, how you structure your days, how you plan for your future days as well. And with the Five of Pentacles, trying your best to use any feelings of lack to your advantage. Again, use it as a driving force to kick the wheels into gear and see what comes out on the other side for your fortune from the wheel. Yeah, let's just pull out a few more cards, and then I believe that those are your messages. We'll see if there's anything else, but yeah. We have the Hanged Man. Something about needing to shift a perspective. I wonder if it is pertaining to our reading. I don't know if there is something new, like, incoming right now. The Knight of Wands. Definitely something incoming. So I feel like we're like shifting gears in the reading right now. Something else is coming out. The Knight of Wands. What is this speaking of? Temperance. Seven of Cups. Knight of Cups. Pulling your own heartstrings. Seven of Pentacles. Final messages for pile 3. It looks like things will be shifting as well to like more of like a dreamy, like emotional side. And I think that it could be in conjunction with a King of Cups counterpart, kind of bringing more of that into your direct energy. That's what I'm seeing with Temperance, with Seven of Cups, specifically with the imagery, and as well as Knight of Cups. Like, yeah, the Knight of Cups is an offering, and they are plucking at your heartstrings. The vibrations are emitting, pulsing through you, and influencing you in a great way, as well as you are influencing them with your brightness, with the stars, with your fire. Other energies. Seven of Pentacles. In a year from now, I don't know if there is something that like you didn't really imagine for yourself, like it didn't really feel like perhaps it had been an option you had been aware of for a long time, and that for some of you was kind of like set up and prepared for you. And I think some of you could be finding yourself like, I want to say, submitting to that environment or opportunity, but then like really, really finding home in that. Finding what you need in that, nonetheless. Wow, I like that. This has been interesting for you guys, pile 3. I hope you got the messages you needed. I wish you the best of luck in your next year. If you did enjoy the messages, I would love it if you would subscribe, like, comment on the video, do all of those things. It is very helpful. But otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading.